have a fun update for you. And by fun, I mean, my God, I can't believe this keeps getting worse. Way back in December of 2020, I made a video about how Meatball Ron DeSantis was silencing a data scientist who revealed that Florida was covering up their COVID death information to the point that he sent cops to her house with guns drawn to take away her computers. Now, if you're reading the transcript for this video instead of watching the video, you might be confused right now because I always link to everything I mention in the transcript, and you don't see a link there to that previous video. Where is it? Well, that video is one of, I think, maybe 2 total videos over the years that I've made private, because it turns out that the data scientist in question was actually a big old grifter and I got fooled. So instead, I'm going to link to my first follow-up on this topic from July of 2021, which I will summarize here for those of you who don't have the time to click through and watch or read what I said before. Rebekah Jones was a website developer who worked for the Florida Department of Health in 2020, managing their COVID dashboard. In April of 2020, her coworkers reported that she was doing some fishy stuff, possibly taking private personnel data, as well as putting out infographics to the public that were altered from the department's own data. When they asked her to please stop doing that, she crashed the dashboard by moving a bunch of data into her personal account, making herself the sole administrator and locking her coworkers out. A manager was able to get admin access back and get the dashboard back up and running, and the department tried to work things out with her without firing her, but a few days later, she sent messages to her coworkers claiming that she was removed from the dashboard because she refused to manipulate data, at which point she was fired. Then she went to the press, claiming to be a scientist who was silenced for refusing to alter COVID data to make Florida look better, and everyone, including myself, believed her. She raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for her legal defense, and she became a popular, well-regarded opponent of the far-right Ron DeSantis government. Because her case became this liberal cause célèbre, it took a while for people to notice, people like me, to notice the far-right reporters who were accurately pointing out that she was lying. But when I finally looked at their evidence, I found that it was solid. And that was before I learned that she had a long history of really shady behavior, like criminal charges for battery and stalking, the latter of which was related to her having sex with one of her students while she was a professor at Florida State University, after she allegedly publicly published nude photos of that student and threatened to fail his roommate as revenge. It's just, you gotta admit, like, something ain't right there. By the way, Florida did pursue legal action against her for the COVID dashboard stuff, which resulted in a plea agreement in which she agreed that she was guilty of a hacking-related offense, but then she publicly argued that it was all extortion and that actually she was innocent. Now, I am not a lawyer, but I think that that sort of behavior in a plea agreement is frowned upon, and can even sometimes, I think, lead to the plea agreement being canceled. But when the press reached out to the prosecutor about it, his reaction was hilarious. It's inconsistent with the document, but I don't really care what she says, Kappelman said with an audible sigh. It's a free country. I really feel that sigh because it seems that Jones is just absolutely exhausting. In fact, someone noticed that she once emailed Kappelman, that prosecutor, for comment using a pseudonym pretending to be a disinterested third-party journalist, but she forgot to log out of her own Google Workspace account with her name on it. She also forgot to hide her admin account on the news website she set up for the fake journalist, and she's on file with the state of Florida as the owner of said news website. And when asked about it on Twitter, she claimed that that website was actually a part of USA Today, and she does not own USA Today. It's not part of USA Today. She registered mynwfl.com, and it seems that maybe she's hoping we all confuse it with NWFL Daily News, which is a part of the USA Today. It's just so exhausting. And as bad as all that is, she still has not stopped the grift, because last week her post started getting retweeted onto my timeline like a very unwanted blast from the past. This time she was reporting that Governor Ron DeSantis was once again trying to intimidate, threaten, punish her by having her 13-year-old son arrested on trumped-up charges because of some edgy memes he posted online. My immediate first thought was, oh God, what's she lying about now? My family is not safe, she wrote on Twitter. My son has been taken on the gov's orders, and I've had to send my husband and daughter out of state for their safety. This is the reality of living in DeSantis' Florida. There is no freedom here, only retaliatory rule by a fascist who wishes to be king. A week after we filed our lawsuit against the state, a kid claiming to be the cousin of one of my son's classmates joined their Snapchat group. They recorded their conversations and anonymously reported my son to police for sharing a popular internet meme. If you want to help make your voice heard wherever people will listen, she continued. I don't have a fund going yet specifically for this, but my whistleblower fundraiser is up if that's how you feel you can help most. Okay, I thought, let's see the meme. She tweeted that it was this meme, which honestly, it's pretty funny and not in any way threatening. So I looked around to verify, and the top search result I found about all of this at the time was a Miami Herald article that described some of the posts that were in the actual police report. And yeah, they're pretty bad. February 9th, I want to shoot up the school. February 12th, if I get a gun, I'm going to shoot up HNMS, LOL, which is an apparent reference to Holly Navarre Middle School, which the youth had previously attended. February 12th, I always keep a knife on me, so maybe I'll just stab people. February 12th, I have no hope in getting better, so why not kill the losers at school? And after reading those, which are not memes, I thought, yeah, I'm glad they brought that kid in for a talk. He literally said he was going to get a gun and shoot a bunch of children at a middle school. And unlike what Jones claimed about an anonymous person pretending to be someone's cousin, it was actually several of his friends who were concerned about his posts and told first their school and then the police that, this seems serious. But the Miami Herald article went on to note, an unredacted version of the warrant obtained by the Herald shows the threatening messages were sent by a username that was different from the one Jones's son used to send the memes. The document does not say how authorities determined both usernames are linked to the same account. The redacted version circulated by authorities does not reveal that there were two different usernames involved. All right, now we're talking about something that actually might be nefarious. Maybe Jones is right. Because, on the one hand, we're talking about a woman who grifted hundreds of thousands of dollars from people by pretending to be a scientist censored by a fascist governor. And on the other hand, we have a fascist governor and the police force in a state run by a fascist governor. So, it's important to keep an open mind. After digging into it a bit more, though, I learned that no, there are not two different usernames involved in this case. Apparently, there is just one news outlet that doesn't understand how Snapchat works, nor how to carefully read a police report. Luckily, another outlet does. Reporters at Vice, who also saw the documents, unredacted, released by the police, say that the actual report clearly states, it should be noted Snapchat uses a name to ID the account to other people, they redact that ID, and the actual username, and they redact that username. Like many social networks, Snapchat allows you to have one username that you always log in with, but you can edit what name is going to be displayed to other people. Like on Twitter, my username will always be @Rebeccawatson, but I can change it to say things like, I don't know, Ben Shapiro can't get his wife wet if I notice that Ben Shapiro has retweeted me. So if a screenshot of that tweet ends up in a police report, God forbid, it would be important for the police to note that Rebeccawatson is also Ben Shapiro can't get his wife wet. Anyway, Jones continues to insist that her son is innocent because she says she checked his Snapchat and she didn't see any of those messages, which, again, that's someone who doesn't know how Snapchat works. Snapchat, the whole point is that the messages delete automatically, though, and this is important for people to know, the messages do stay on Snapchat servers for some period of time, and law enforcement can get a warrant to see them, which appears to be what happened in this case. Now, the kid hasn't gone to trial yet, and of course, there's always a chance that he could be completely innocent, which is why, I'm not sharing his name. But as of right now, we have way more evidence that Rebekah Jones's son sent his friends threatening messages about murdering middle schoolers. Then we have evidence that Ron DeSantis is personally torturing Rebekah Jones by having her son arrested for no reason. I'm talking about all of this today for a few reasons. First, obviously, I talk a lot about liars and the spread of misinformation, and, I find all this stuff interesting. But more importantly, I think that it is absolutely critical that we call out the people on our side who are in the wrong. I think Ron DeSantis is a disgusting fascist who absolutely must be run out of office on a rail. And compared to him, Rebekah Jones is just a small-time grifter. But she's our small-time grifter. The more famous she gets, and the more she continues to either lie or misrepresent or distort reality, the more people on the sidelines will assume that that's what all of Ron DeSantis' opponents are doing. If progressives are to have any moral standing against the far right, we must keep our own house clean. And it absolutely cannot be clean if Rebekah Jones is in it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you think the world could use more videos like this and you happen to have a few bucks laying around, head to patreon.com/Rebekah and join an awesome community of nerds like the people whose names you see on the screen right now. Thanks.